Welcome to another episode of the Online Prosperity Experience podcast. You're about to hear your host, Prosper Taravinga's powerful digital marketing strategies and actionable tactics that you can use right now. Prosper has helped more than 50,000 people from over 10 countries to create meaningful businesses that are profitable and enjoyable. Listen to this podcast so that you too can build your own business with less stress and overwhelm. Let's get started.
Time spent connecting with your clients is way better than trying to connect with them on social media. And I mean connecting with them in real life. Yes, that dreaded outside that kids these days are very, very scared of. Because guess what? We just came through some major pandemic, which everybody was locked in and we couldn't go outside. But I want to tell you something. If you spend time with the people that you're going to be demanding money off of, you, my friend, will be able to create a business that's profitable and enjoyable. And the reason why I'm saying this is simple. First of all, trust the science, okay? People enjoy being asked about themselves and they enjoy talking about themselves. What a better way to pay for somebody's lunch or drink and then just listen to what they've got to say. People will tell you problems with their health, problems with their wealth, problems with their relationships, as long as they have somebody who can listen to them. Okay? So you want to take advantage of this human characteristic by actually asking questions of your customers. Take them out to lunch. Pay for it. And the reason why I'm saying pay for it, because you will get expensive research data for free. You're speaking to a real live person who has paid you money for your services, for your coaching, for your training, information, expertise, or whatever gig that you might need from them. And this research data is free. You would have to pay tons and tons, trying to experiment with ads, trying to experiment with copywriting just to get the right answers that you're getting for free in front of you. What's $30 for a steak or something of that nature going to do for you, I mean, some people might say no to this or some people might not agree. But if you can compare 2 solid hours that are spent on social media with 2 hours of you having lunch with a client, a peer or a colleague or somebody in your industry or somebody who just won an award, that will put you far ahead of a lot of people in their BS, because you're connecting with the right kind of people, with the right kind of pain, with the right kind of mindset. And yes, you're really, really getting the answers that you would have actually had to pay for, spending money on ads and not actually generating any qualified leads. All right, let me preface this a little bit by saying I am a big fan of social media, even though I am not on social media myself. And as a business, we do have a presence just so that our clients have a point of reference, But personally, I'm not engaged on Facebook. I'm not engaged on LinkedIn. I'm not engaged on TikTok. I might have some traces of me being there. Why? Because we're the most documented generation. And I did my time, showing up on all those social media platforms, and it didn't pay off. So I decided against it and started really creating for and relating to my audience via this podcast, via emailing, and actually, being present for my audience instead of, going for vanity matrix and just hoping that people will like my content. It makes me feel better. So let me preface this, like I said, I'm not saying, I hate social media. I'm a big fan of social media as a business tool for coaches, consultants, and small to medium business, or for any other kind of solopreneur or business out there. And the smart use of this social media can actually be a great way for you to connect with people in your industry and actually reach out to potential clients and customers or partners or people that you can do business with. However, However, and I'm saying this, I'm actually standing up right now. I'm saying, however, the smart use of social media actually involves you having absolute clarity over how to use it, absolute clarity of who your target market is, absolute clarity of your message. And when you use it and how much time you're spending on it, this will actually make your whole life better. You know, when I used to show up on social media and everything else, I would wake up in the morning, I'm already scrolling to see how many people liked my post overnight. And there's a tool on social media that you can check, your screen time. And I started noticing that Facebook was taking up much of my time. And, if you're a lawyer, you would understand what I'm about to say right now. All of those was unbillable hours. I was not getting paid for scrolling through social media. My thumbs even now had biceps because I just kept scrolling and scrolling. TM that, please. Yeah, somebody from my team, can we write that into some sort of a thing that we can use? My thumbs at biceps. I amuse myself. Check this out. I'm having fun on my podcast here. You know what I mean? Without me having to scream, yell at the top of my voice for anybody else to hear me in the sea of Me Too digital marketers out there. If you use social media wisely, all right, if you've got absolute clarity over how to use it and when to use it and how much time you're spending on it, you, my friend, would be better off, you know what I mean? Because you will literally no longer hide behind the facade or the personas that we have to show up in the world in order for us to get validation and approval from people who don't even care. You know what I mean? You want to be out here doing work that matters for people who care. All right, so let me take an extreme example, and I'm going to say this with utmost love and respect. You can, quite easily spend hundreds and thousands of hours on Twitter, on Facebook, on LinkedIn. You can be like Elon Musk, even go as far as wanting to buy the whole platform just so you can have it to yourself. And build maybe a list of tens of thousands of followers, friends, connections, whatever you call them these days. And then derive zero, nothing, zilch from any of those efforts. How many times have you actually gotten some tangible return on the time, effort, and emotion you're investing in social media? Back in the time I would watch, Twitter. And I also look at my wife following all those, TikToks and Instagram Reels. And I notice that she's just thumbing through and she's not engaging to anything that doesn't really grab her by the bones, like really grab her eyeballs. It's like she already sees what the thing is going to be about just by looking at the thumbnail. And I'm like, how? Do you know how much time goes into creating one of those? And she's like, nah. It's water off my back, water off a duck's back. I see a lot of people tweeting dozens of times a day. And I ask myself this question, why? Why are they tweeting so much? What is the strategy? What is the end goal? What is the actual result of all these tweeting, liking, commenting, sharing, and whatever it is you're doing? What's the benefit anyone is deriving from all this time that has been spent either on TikTok, on Instagram, or any of those places? What is the actual ROI? If somebody knows, please send me that in an email, and I can obviously, have a chance to look at it. I once saw on the internet there's an actual calculator of how much you can make from Instagram or YouTube. You need to have hours and hours and hours of content on there just to get $1. How about just creating real work, real tangible websites, content, courses that you can then sell at the back of all that effort? I mean, that's just the first thing. Create social media to enable you, not for you to enable it, because social media in and of itself is just a content suck. You want to create a social media strategy for yourself. Decide on why you're using it. Set up some goals, parameters, and measure yourself. If something is not bringing in the bacon, get rid of it. And then spend your time on achieving those goals. I want you to keep track of the time that you're spending on social media. There's apps, even an Apple phone will give you that result every end of the week. Just start looking at what you're spending much of your time on and make sure you're getting a good ROI on that. The 2 hours that you're spending on social media could be used in reading a book. It could be used in connecting with your audience. Can be used, like I said, getting information from your clients. Stuff that you need to pay thousands of dollars in ad spend just to get an answer from, somebody who's a prospect who can become a customer. And let's just talk about the, scenario that I brought across of me, taking my client out to lunch. I mean, imagine you just have lunch with maybe somebody who's just won an award, or a client, or maybe an old, client who left, or maybe an existing client, because those are the ones that will tell you why they bought from you and why they keep buying from you. And that information in and of itself will make or break your business. Because once you know why people are loyal to you, you will start creating, tools and products that they will buy more from you. And this then creates revenue streams that will skyrocket your profitability and ensure that your business remains 100% bulletproof. Even during market downturns, even during global pandemics and sweeping lockdowns, you will have a business that lasts further than the lunch break that you have. And a lot of people are afraid to take their clients out to lunch because they get exposed. Because the real them is hiding behind that fake persona that they use to get validation online. So like I said, imagine having lunch with like an existing client or a possible future client, and then you spend a couple of hours over a meal or maybe over a drink. That is 160 minutes of face-to-face time, real talk, emotions, really getting to understand what it is that they need from you, getting to understand their health, their wealth, their relationships, and how you can be of value to them as a coach, consultant, or small to medium business. I mean, maybe a little of the talk will go into their family stuff. And once they start talking about their family as a coach, you can realize that, wait a minute, they're not just coming to you for business advice. The reason why their business is not, as successful as it's supposed to be, is simply predicated on the fact that they don't have a peaceful family environment. That can be a product that you can sell to them. Or maybe they're moaning about the community, the economy, or the community they reside in. That could create a product that you can sell to them. When you stop going for market share and you start creating for and relating to the audience that you're actually serving right now, you get what's called wallet share, where you get customers paying you enough, to more than anyone that they're paying out there. And you're getting, because when somebody has already become a customer of yours, it's easier for you to sell them more products, and you don't have to pay more money in order for you to reach out to those people. And you can talk about what's going on around them, maybe the clients that you have and the clients that they have, the kind of work that you've been picking up, the kind of work that they're hoping to pick up, celebrate their wins, all of those things. And maybe at minute 89, your lunch guest says something like, hey, I should hook you up with my friend Frank. He's the marketing manager at Facebook, and I know he's looking for this kind of expertise that you offer. I'll get you guys together. Would you get that from scrolling through copious amounts of people wearing bikinis on Instagram? Look, it took 89 minutes and maybe $30 of a steak that you are going to pay a little bit later on. That is cheap, because if you're going to go in and speak to Frank and get $1 million project out of that, how much is the return on your investment right now? Let's calculate that. You paid $30 for the steak, maybe an extra $20 for the drinks, and then you invested 89 minutes into a conversation that now leads to $1 million in return of investment. Can you please write to me if you can get that sort of a return on your investment by scrolling through Facebook right now? Send me an email. I mean, regardless of the time spent, consider the power of this referral. An introduction through LinkedIn may be nice, but that's a loose introduction. It's not like the power of saying, you know what? Hey, Frank, I want you to talk to Prosper. I've known him for years, and the other day we were having lunch, and he was talking about this new service that he's offering. You guys should get in touch. Let me tell you something. Put simply, we talk about word of mouth, but a real world referral is infinitely more powerful than an effective, more powerful and effective than a virtual referral through social media, where somebody might do something with that referral. And you might say, oh, maybe they're equal or they're the same. How come is that? Because the relative power of connections that you're making in real life is much more, social proof than somebody who says, here's a profile. You figure out if you want to connect with them or not. I mean, you may well have 10,000 connections through your social medias, but do you know any of them? What's their son's name? Where does the kid go to college? What are they going through right now in life? Every one of those 10,000. Please send me an email with a response to that. We are all measuring in minor things. All these 10,000 people that we're connected with, they're vague, misty, fleeting, ethereal, and essentially very, very weak connections. It's like a weak handshake. What are you going to do with a weak handshake? These people don't really know you, bruh. These people don't really know you, Sally. These people don't really know you, sis. They have no reason to go out of their way to help you. They're not your real friends, and they don't care about you. I know it hurts, but that's the truth. But when you get to know somebody over the years and have lunch, when you break bread with them, sit down and eat with them, you hear about their kids, you hear about how they're doing in school. That actually creates a stronger connection, because now you've got more ways to help this person. You've got more things to talk about. They don't have this with their friends, because you know what happens when you're on the entrepreneurial journey. You become isolated from your friends, your family, from just about anybody else. And if you are coming in as a coach or consultant and really connecting with your clients, they now have a friend in need and a friend indeed. So when it comes to them counseling your retainer, they have to think, wait a minute, where am I going to get financial advice from? Where am I going to get health advice from? Where am I going to whinge to somebody who gets me? I want you to make a note of every time that you spend on social media each week. Is it 6 hours? Is it 12 hours? Maybe. Let me tell you what that equates to. That's about 3 lunches if you're doing 6 hours. Which would be better use of your time? You know? For most of us, I think the answer is to do both. Yes, you need to initiate the conversations online. Just don't get tied up onto the social media aspect, and then you forget the power of real life personal relationships. And I think the reason why we're not really doing a lot of real life relationships is because social media gives us anonymity. You know, we have an opportunity to fake ourselves, and we can fake it to people that we know we're never going to catch up in real life after all. And let me tell you something, trying to be fake or somebody that you're not can be a lot of work, because then you now have to live up to those expectations just in case somebody sees you on the street and you are not who you say you are online. So now you have to live up to that and pretend you live in different places, which you don't. And it's a pain in the budget when you're not being real, isn't it? Pretending to have beliefs that you don't really have because you're afraid maybe people won't like who you are if you're not politically correct. That's a hogwash. Acting like you're content and humble when you've actually got desires and you're afraid to chase who you want to become. I mean, putting on a fake smile on LinkedIn and looking at whatever virtue is being signaled at that time just so that you don't lose clients. That's a lot of work. It's a lot of strain on yourself, you know. It's a lot of strain on your family, a lot of strain on everybody else who's around you. And maybe you show up with this cringe corporate speak. You know, we provide synergistic solutions that augment your probability, and we encourage. Oh, come on, man. Can you just stop? And listen, you can stop. It's okay to be you. It's okay to be John. You are allowed to be who you are. You are allowed to be yourself. I want you to say, I'm allowed to be your name. I'm allowed to be. Right? I'm going to say that again. I'm allowed to be. Say your name. I didn't hear that. I need you to pay attention to this. I'm allowed to be. Thank you. Obviously, I didn't quite hear you because, I recorded this ages ago. But you get what I mean, right? Bruh, you can just live life however you see fit as long as you're not hurting anyone. And I'm sorry if I yelled in your ear, but maybe I was speaking to your soul. And here's how. Tell me something. Who is the real you? Who do you say you are when you're describing yourself? All right? Because there's a guy, Charles Bukowski. He says the free soul is rare, but you know it when you see it. Basically because you feel good, very good, when you are near or with them. How many people can say that about you? Or maybe you're asking yourself right now, how do I become this free soul? Well, let me tell you something, you don't. You remember that you already have a free soul within you, and all you just got to do is remove all that excess baggage that you're bringing along with. All that need for approval, all that need to be seen as something you're not. Do you know when you go and fly in low quality airliners, you actually pay a little bit extra for luggage? So why are you choosing to pay a lot more than you should be right now in order for you to show up? You more or less have an idea whether you're living your best life or you're not. You do, and you know that. I'm calling you out right now. And the way that you want to live your best life is when you start noticing that you have no need to have any approval from anybody else, and you also don't have a need to judge other people, because that's what we're doing when we're on social media. Because if you didn't need any external validation, how would you show up in your world? How would you survive? Because the real you is that inner child. I don't know where I'm going with this, but that childlike version of yourself, that raw energy with maturity and basic social calibration of an adult. And nobody can stop you from reaching your greatness. You know why? Because you don't need anybody else to validate you. So that's why I'm encouraging you to go out, be seen in your whole self. You were born free. And you have slowly been put in a mental cage. You know why? Because society starts to condition you, combine you with all their wired-in need to fit in tribe mentality and have a recipe for life that you grow up. You got to do this by a certain age and all that stuff. Bruh, the real you is the person you'd be if you weren't in that cage. And the real you doesn't need anything, doesn't need that like, doesn't need to put up that new selfie. It already knows everything that it needs. And it's not your fault, because we're adding all these layers on top of our personality, and it's going to take a while for us to take it all out. Because if you're ever tempted to look outside, for approval, then realize that you've actually compromised your own integrity. You have lost the whole essence of who you are. And if you need a witness, be your own. What are you doing right now to really, really create for and relate to your audience? Are you actually going out and finding out how else you can be of help? Or are you just sitting behind a computer and selling whatever course you're selling today, whatever consulting, whatever training, whatever information, whatever expertise that somebody can literally download from Google, which is what you did in the first place anyway? You're probably scared right now. We all have fears. But on some level, we just want to be loved, and we're afraid that people won't love us if we show up in our true self. Wrong. It's not literally always like this. You know? And if the need to be loved, the need for approval, all of that stuff just puts you down a whole lot more. Gotta be confident with who you are. Show up for those that actually need you. Identify your top 10 people that you want to work with and invite them for lunch right now. Stop this episode. There's nothing new I'm going to say. Because once you've gotten that, you have a chat with these people, you can literally start creating recurring revenue streams that will skyrocket your profitability and show that your business remains 100% bulletproof. You know why? Because when you talk to people, they will tell you their pains, they will tell you what's going wrong with them. And as an entrepreneur, your goal is to find solutions for people, and you just happen to charge for them. You know? So if you're going to choose to show up in a fake way, that's a lot of work. Just show up with the real you. You know? If you really know what you have to do and know how to do it, then what's stopping you? Focus on removing those layers. Find out if you're in alignment with everything that you're doing, specifically alignment between your thoughts, your words, your actions, all of that stuff. Are you congruent with who you say you are online and the person who you are in real life? Because if you're going to be different things to different people, then that's going to be difficult for you to manage. Are you actually using social media with the right goals? You know, you want to choose your goals based on what you want, not what society wants. Not what your friends want, not what your family wants, certainly what you want. And the one thing you should be is unapologetically you and unashamed. You don't have to hide behind your real beliefs just to get people to like you. You don't have to lower yourself or make others feel better just so that you are liked by society. And if you know what you want, you will know who you are attracting, and you know who exactly, is the right kind of person that you can solve problems for. And you now have an informed view in the way that actually the world works, and you know what you value and how you need to show up instead of the cocooned echo chambers that you're just following on social media just so that you feel relevant. You now know the type of people that you want to be around. Also, more importantly, you know the people that you don't want in your life, and it will be easy for you to actually filter these people. It's good for your mental health, bro. And guess what? You will be able to keep whatever promises that you make to anyone. And you don't have to try. Because if you are unrestrained, there's no need for all these extra layers that we put on ourselves. You become you become the powerful you, the person that really can show up in places where, other people can't. And that gives you a competitive advantage. Instead of looking at what other people are doing on social media, go out and meet their clients, ask them questions. And like I said at the start of this podcast, people like to be heard. Imagine what your life would be like if you don't feel restrained all the time or tethered to your phone. Imagine what it would be like if you did whatever you wanted to do for no other reason, just because you wanted to do it, just because it makes you feel good. It has got nothing to do with what society needs. It's got nothing to do with what anybody needs. And if you did this every single day for the rest of your life, wouldn't you have a business that's profitable and enjoyable? I mean, that's pretty good, isn't it? So if this podcast struck a nerve and you would like help to take advantage of weaning yourself off of social media and creating a sustainable business that's profitable and enjoyable, I really want you to do this right now. All right? Reach out to me. Send me an email. And when I see what you say, we'll work together, hands on. We'll develop a strategic plan and then deep dive and work so that we identify who your ideal client is. That way, when you show up on social media, you're just going to talk to those people and inviting them home for lunch. Not home specifically, but inviting them out for lunch, like the theme of this podcast today. And then I would show you the strategic messages that you need to send out to them, which make you stand out from everybody and their BS out there. Because our customers already have a BS radar. So they know somebody who's genuine and somebody who's not. And then I'll talk to you about your consulting offers, the fees that you're charging, the pricing, and really frame your business model so that you're not heavily reliant on social media or being tethered to your phone. And pretty much after that, we will then just rinse and repeat that and help you set up your marketing engine and your lead generation system so you can constantly attract the right kind of people with the right kind of pain. That way you create a business that's profitable and enjoyable. I want you to win. I really want you to sustainably scale your business from wherever you are right now to 7 figures and beyond. And you can literally set yourself up as a trusted leader in your industry without spending copious amount on social media and feeding the insatiable content beast. If you heard what I said right now, you would understand. Send that email. Let's get started. Bye for now.
Thank you for joining us today. If you have any questions, let's continue the conversation in the Live Long Digital community. Become a Live Long Digital community member today. This community is for ambitious entrepreneurs and small business owners with the drive to take control of the future of their businesses and achieve huge success without stress and overwhelm. As you heard, Prosper can help you by teaching you marketing strategies that work. So, look no further than the Live Long Digital community of entrepreneurs and highly successful business owners. Join our community today. Find us on www.community.livelongdigital.com.au. Network with other driven entrepreneurs and find the expert guidance you need to take your business to the next level. www.community.livelongdigital.com.au